Hello everyone, Lucas here. If you're a HDB owner who's thinking of upgrading to an Executive Condo EC and you're not sure how to do so, what are the things to look out for, make sure to watch this guide. This guide consists of two main parts: upgrading to a new EC or to a resale EC. They have different eligibility conditions, buying processes, as well as financial considerations, which we will go through in this guide. Before we begin, as a HDB owner, you need to reach the MOP status first before you can buy any other residential property. To check your MOP status, you can log into my HDB page with your SingPass. Head over to under My Flat, Purchased Flat, Flat Details, and Minimum Occupation Period. There you will be able to see your status. Also, during MOP, your spouse and occupiers are not allowed to acquire private residential property. Buying to hold on trust for another person is also not allowed. We have also helped our clients upgrade to their new homes smoothly, without ABSD and without moving twice. Click here to listen what they have to say after working with us. Alright, let's get to it. ECs are full-fledged condos. They are subsidized by Singapore's government and they can provide a more affordable entry point to a private property, usually about 20% lesser compared to condos, but it comes with a lot more conditions and restrictions compared to them. As you may know, the two types: new EC is the one that's bought directly from developer, and resale EC, those that are bought from individual sellers. Number 1. Eligibility schemes. You must be a Singapore citizen and at least one other applicant must be a Singapore citizen or Singapore permanent resident. You also cannot buy a new EC as a sole owner, but can buy a resale EC. If you are single, you can look at orphan scheme or joint single scheme. Do check out the following schemes if you are eligible. You also cannot own a HDB and own a new EC concurrently. You must sell your HDB flat. Number 2. Income ceiling. Must not exceed 16,000. It may or may not increase in the future. Number 3. Grants. They are only available for first-timers. If your co-applicant is a first-timer, you may be eligible for the half housing grant from 0 to 15,000. Do check it out in the link. Number 4. Previous housing subsidies. As you are a HDB owner currently, if you have bought it directly from HDB, that would mean that you have bought a subsidized flat. Or if you have bought a resale flat with CPF housing grant, you also be counted as having enjoyed one housing subsidy. As such, you are considered as a second timer and will be required to pay a resale levy when you buy a second subsidized flat. This new EC is counted as a subsidized flat. If you have already bought two subsidized housing, you will not be eligible to buy or be listed as an essential occupier for this new EC unit directly from the property developer. You still can buy a resale EC. And number 5, financing. Do contact your preferred banks or mortgage specialists to get a free bank IPA so that you know how much loan you can take, how much are the monthly payments, and you can start to explore the loan packages to see which one suits you. Mortgage Servicing Ratio, MSR. You may have heard of this when you have bought your HDB flat with your loan. It means that the proportion of your gross monthly income that goes towards repaying all of your property loans, including the loan that is being applied for. Right now, it is capped at 30%. As compared to resale EC and condo, a TDSR limit of 60% will apply, which is essentially double of your borrowing capacity. You can only take a bank loan with a cap of loan-to-value limit at 75% instead of the HDB loan of 85% loan-to-value limit for HDB flats, meaning you need to prepare at least 25% for the down payment, of which 5% is in cash, and on top of that, do remember the buyer's stamp duties. Also, you may also be subject to an even more reduced loan-to-value limit if you take a second housing loan. So if possible, do clear your loans early, like your car loans, student loans, to see your true borrowing capacity. Do also factor in the resale levies, legal fees and renovation costs for your budget. Let's talk about the buying process of a new EC. Similar to buying a new launch condo, first we start out visiting show flats, so as the site, have a feel of the surrounding areas, pricing and value analysis, and after that, if you are still keen, we can proceed to submit an application to the developer. They may do a balloting method or a walk-in selection, and you can get to select an EC unit if you're shortlisted. Once you have selected a unit, you have to pay the booking fee of 5% to secure the OTP. Make sure to bring all the required documents, engage the conveyancing firm, and get the sale and purchase agreement. You need to exercise it with 15% down payment, pay the buyer's stamp duty as well as the legal fees. Next will be the payment scheme. we have two types, later we'll discuss, and wait for TOP and key collection. There are two different payment schemes for new EC. The first one is progressive payment scheme, where the loan is dispersed in stages, which is the same as a new launch condo. And the second one is called deferred payment scheme, where the home loan is dispersed upon TOP instead of the construction milestones. So that you don't need to tackle two loans at the same time if you're still paying for your HDB loan, as well as resetting your loan to value limit to 75% while you wait for it to finish building. Do take note, usually for DPS, they will increase the price slightly. Fun fact, in the past, condos also had DPS for uncompleted properties, but it was not allowed after October 2007. Let's move on to upgrading methods for new EC. Usually, my clients prefer to buy first with the DPS, wait it out in the HDB flat for it to complete building, and after moving into the EC, then they sell their HDB flat. This way, they don't need to pay two home loans simultaneously and be restricted on the loan to value limit. They also don't need to pay any ABSD when they purchase the new EC. If you choose to sell your HDB first, then rent or find a temporary place to stay, you'll be able to clear the loan to value limits restriction and also able to use your sale proceeds to pay for the down payment, although it may not be worth it due to the rental that you may incur. The key conditions after buying new ECs. Similar to buying HDB, you also get a new 5-year MOP from TOP. After that, you can sell to Singaporeans or PRs of 21 of age. You also cannot rent out the whole EC within the MOP, but you can rent out bedrooms and you need to inform HDB on that. Resale levies may also apply after you sell this flat and buy the next subsidized unit from HDB. Looking forward, this EC will be fully privatized, where you can sell to foreigners or companies on the 11th year onwards from the TOP. Let's talk about resale EC, 5 years old and above. Eligibility schemes are less stringent. As long as you're above 21 of age, you're a Singaporean or PR, you can buy as a single. However, there will be no grants and resale levy won't be applicable as well. There will also be no income ceiling, and you can rent out the whole EC like a private property. You do not need to inform HDB. You also don't have MOP, but you may face about 4 to 12% of seller stamp duty from IRAS if you sell within 3 years. If you buy a resale EC while owning your HDB, you have to pay ABSD as it becomes your second property count. You can also choose to keep both flats. If you purely want to upgrade and intend to sell your HDB flat to a resale EC, you may be applicable for ABSD remission. Do check IRAS for the most updated and specific details. Do note, a full Singapore PR ownership in a HDB flat cannot concurrently own both HDB and private property, even after the HDB's MOP. You will have to sell the HDB flat if you want to own a private property. For financing, a TDSR of 60% will apply, and this means that the portion of your gross monthly income that goes towards repaying all property loans, including the loan being applied for. You can only take a bank loan with the cap of loan to value limit at 75% instead of HDB loan of the usual 85% loan to value limit for HDB flats, meaning you need to prepare at least 25% for the down payment, of which 5% is in cash. On top of that, do remember the buyer stamp duties and additional buyer stamp duties if applicable. You may even be subject to even more reduced loan to value limit if you take a second housing loan. Do also factor in the legal fees and renovation costs for your budget. And here's the general buying process for resale EC. You can go and visit the physical units, have a feel of the place, and if you like it, you can shortlist them. And once you have agreed on the price with the seller, you pay a 1% option fee to secure the OTP and engage the conveyancing firm to help you do the conveyancing. And then you exercise the OTP with 4% option fee and buy stamp fees as well as ABSD if applicable. And the 12 weeks completion period start. And then you need to pay the balance 20% a few weeks before completion. And upon completion, you collect your keys. For upgrading methods to resale EC, we have a sell-first method where we help our clients do so without paying any ABSD or renting. And they can use their sale proceeds from their HDB flat to pay a portion for their down payment. The key to it is timing. For example, property A and property B. We usually start looking for their new home, property B, simultaneously while marketing their current property, which is property A, for sale with extension, and time it so that they can get the option for their property B as soon as possible after the exercise of the option of property A. Our clients will need to pay for the 5% minimum cash upfront from their own savings for this method, but they won't need to move twice. Pros of this method is that there's no ABSD risk, you get a higher loan to value limit, lower cash outlay from your own pocket, and only one loan to service, and you only need to move once. The cons are that any unexpected circumstances from either side of property A or property B could affect the whole process, and that's why we always have a contingency plan. And another con is that you may miss out on the ideal unit if you got taken up during the gap of viewing and waiting for the exercise of property A. Alternatively, you can also buy first, then sell thereafter. Though this would mean that you need to stand by for more cash outlay, as you need to cough up the ABSD first, and your loan to value limit is also affected if you have outstanding loan for a HDB flat. And for resale EC, there's no DPS, and you also have to rush to sell the HDB within 6 months to get the ABSD remission. Hopefully this guide has given you a thorough understanding if you're thinking of selling a HDB to upgrade to an EC. What do you prefer, new launch EC or resale EC? Do let me know down below. If you would like us to help you handle the whole upgrading process smoothly, from financial calculations to timeline planning, negotiating for the best deals for both sides of the transactions, do WhatsApp me at 8333-0360. Do also check out the ultimate guide on upgrading from HDB to condo, where we discuss in detail about the pros and cons of upgrading from a HDB to a private property. Thank you for watching.